everyone, and welcome to tonight's playoff football action in Class AA as we're coming from Scrapper Stadium with tonight's ball game between the Nashville Scrappers and the Perryville Mustangs. The captains tonight for Perryville was Joel Gill, Josh DeWeese, Nick Canette. The captains for the Nashville Scrappers, number 2, Greg Washington, number 43, John Martin, and number 71, Jason Davis. Perryville won the coin toss. They have elected to receive to get this ball game underway. Perryville will be receiving to our left. That'll be to the south end. And right now the Scrappers getting set to kick this off and get the game underway. And Charles, we're looking forward to a fine ball game. And right now, let's turn Mike's side for the play-by-play with Charles Hubbard.
Mark Staley with the ball on the tee for the Scrappers, kicking north to south, and Joel Gill back deep to receive. And the 1996 AA state playoffs are underway. Gill at the 15, 20, 25. He's at the 30, outside the 30, and falls forward all the way to the 40-yard line.
Well, you know, very early in the ball game, you know, one thing they're looking to do, Charles, Perryville is looking to try to just get something going. They're trying to get a few breaks to go their way, starting off with pretty good field position as they'll start off on their own 40-yard line.
And Robert Witherspoon made the tackle for the Scrappers. And the clock showing 11:54 here in the first period, and the Mustangs will take over with great field position at the 40, and it took just a moment. There is some conversation out on the field by the officials. There's an official timeout for just a moment, Rick. And we're going to hold it right here as they discuss something. I noticed that the Perryville coach McGee was out on the field for just a moment, and now the official has come over and talking with Coach Laird. And I'm not sure exactly what the problem is. And now Coach Laird is walking out onto the field. And Rick, I don't know if there was a little bit of an altercation or what might have happened. I did not see anything across the way.
Well, the coaches are coming out, as you said. They're meeting with the officials there. It will give us an opportunity, Charles, while this is going on out on the field. It will give us an opportunity to welcome in our listeners from other parts of the state, around the state. We want to welcome in from Marlton, from Conway, and from Perryville, as we're helping to send that broadcast to those areas, and we're glad to work with our fellow broadcasters around the state to bring this exciting football action.
Well, I'm not just sure exactly. They seem to be talking something about headphones or something, I believe, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. I would love to take a commercial break here as they discuss this, but we don't know if they're going to be back in just a moment or not. It looks like it's a lengthy discussion, so we're going to take a 30-second timeout and be right back. Something to do with the headsets, and it could be they were interfering with each other and hearing each other's, they're using wireless, so they might have been on the same frequency and hearing each other's calls. So here we go, Mustangs now with Brown down under at quarterback, and they're going to do the sweep. It'll be number 2, Carter, on the carry. It gets back to the line of scrimmage, coming up to make the stop. It looked like it was number 50, Clint Reed, along with Leslie Hendricks. No gain on the play. It'll bring up second down. Well, I got to give him a yard, Rick. He inched it forward just a little, so I'm going to give him a yard on him. It's really less than a yard, so we'll, for all practical purposes, it's second down and 10, just outside the Mustang 40. Ball is on the left hash mark. Brown down under at quarterback. Wing sets up on the left side, split in to the left side. Handoff, no, right up the middle to the fullback. Reed Miller picks up maybe a yard. Host of Scrappers, McGill in there on the bottom of the pile. Paul Wayne Ray, Latree Richards, and also Jamie Irby. Reed Miller will pick up a good yard on the play. It'll bring up third down and about 8 yards to go now. Ball placed at the 42-yard line. Plays being shuffled in and out by players. Coach McGee using that system. Coach Laird, he will signal his in, and The ball is right in the middle of the field now for the Mustangs. Big third down play here. In motion now. Wants to throw. Brown, straight drop, heavy pressure. Wants to throw it downfield, flutters it up in the air, and there was could have been pass interference called on the Mustangs. McGill going for the interception at about the Scrapper 42. I don't believe he would have come down at it with it inbounds. John Tyndall, the intended receiver. That'll bring up fourth down now for the Perryville Mustangs.
Mark McGill for the Scrappers was in a good position to come up with the interception, and Tyndall just came back and made sure that he knocked the ball back down.
And Brown in deep punt formation for the Mustangs, standing on about his own 28-yard line. And it'll be McGill and Paul Wainwright back deep to receive for the Scrappers. They're standing on the 25. There's the snap, wobbly kick. Paul Wainwright fields it at the 30, cuts upfield, 35, gets out of trouble there, cuts back across the green to the 40 to the 41-yard line. Good return by Paul Wainwright. And they're going to mark it at the Scrapper 42-yard line, and that's where the Scrappers will have their first offensive series of the night, beginning with 10:48 left here in the first period.
28-yard punt that time, a 12-yard return for Paul Wainwright.
Ball is on the left hash mark for the Scrappers. No backs. A no-back set. McBride down under at quarterback. Rolls to his right. A little bit of pressure. Throws it downfield. Going to be complete to Reed at the 40-yard line. Fumbled in. They say no. It is incomplete. Never had full possession of it. And it goes incomplete. That'll bring up second down and 10 now. J.R. Cook on the defense for the Scrappers. And we're going to have David Bassel, Channel 4, coming up and stepping in here with us, and he'll do a little color commentary. Welcome to the broadcast booth.
Here, I'm impressed. You guys are high tech.
Well,
Channel 4 needs to pay attention to what you guys do.
Well, I don't know about that. Ball is on the left hash mark, second down and 10. Slot to the right side and split into the left side, and that will be Washington. It'll be the the reverse. It goes to Hughes, and he'll get first down yardage as it goes across the midfield stripe to about the 47-yard line.
Well, I tell you, when you got a guy like McBride, it just opens up the running game. Your defensive coach back there, and it just gives you nightmares to see him running the ball like that when you know you got a guy who can throw it against you as well.
And coming up to make the stop was Dustin Brown for the Mustangs. It'll be a first down for the Scrappers at the 46-yard line of the Mustangs. Ball right in the middle of the field. McBride goes down under, and it's a no-back set again. Slot goes to the left side for the Scrappers. And McBride drops. A little bit of pressure. Wants to throw. Fires it downfield. Complete to Washington. 30, 25. Run out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. Greg Washington on the reception. And chasing him out of bounds is J.R. Cook. Well, David Bassel.
That's supposed to be the lethal combination, I understand.
I'm going to tell you, those two guys are something.
You can't put it on the money any better than that. And I hear Washington's got hands that don't drop many.
Well, you just saw a good example of it there. Greg Washington, I tell you, Coach Laird has compared him to somebody you know. We'll get to that in just a moment. Ball is on the left hash mark. First down for the Scrappers at the Mustang 24. Slot to the left side. Lone set back is Dugan. Slot also to the right side. In motion goes Washington to his right. McBride. Quick toss out to Washington. He's got speed. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Washington will score. Touchdown Scrappers with 10 minutes and 6 seconds left in the first period. 24-yard pass.
I'd say that's a statement right off the bat.
Well, what do you think about that combination right there?
Well, I'll tell you, I wish Rocky Felker was down here tonight. Just a great little play. You got a kid who's talented. You give him the ball and let him do what he can do, and he's impressive.
Well, speaking of Rocky Felker, he was here last week. He just didn't get to see number 2.
I understand.
Safely into a kit to attempt the point after. McGill will hold. And here we go. There's the snap, placement down, kick up, looks good from here, and it is, and the Scrappers lead with 10:06 left here in the first period by a score of 7-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. You're listening to Playoff Football. Scrapper Stadium. The Scrappers have scored. It's 7-0 now over the Perryville Mustangs. That was a 5-play drive for the Scrappers, capped by a 24-yard pass. McBride to Washington, extra point by Stavely good. And it's 7-0, and Stavely has the ball on the tee, ready to kick off.
Well, Greg has missed a couple of weeks of ball games, and Greg is the big playmaker. You know, he came up with that one right there. So we're off to an early lead for the Scrappers, leading 7-0.
That took 42 seconds to score that touchdown for the Scrappers. There's the kickoff. It will be taken by Joel Gill. He's to the 15, 20, 25, gets outside at the 30, and he's going to be wrestled down at about the 35-yard line. And McGill and Witherspoon and also Walker came up to make the hit for the Scrappers. And Rodney Campbell.
Well, everyone talks about Nashville's offense. What about the defense? Is the defense as good as the offense?
I'll tell you, the defense can step up when they really want to. They can do it.
Yeah.
I think had 148 points scored on them, but you got to remember the offense and the defense has only played about 2.5 quarters of ball.
That's right.
That's a little bit deceiving. Pitch toss, it'll go out on the sweep to Gill. He'll try to get outside, and the Scrappers smother him after maybe a yard or two gain. It looks like Reed came up to make the initial hit for the Scrappers. And it'll be about, we're going to give you 3 yards on that carry, David.
I tell you what, I'm really impressed with the numbers that this program has. I'll tell you, it's impressive to see that many kids dressed out and have the kind of athletes you do.
It'll be 2nd down and 7 from the 38 now. That's the Mustang 38. And Reed Miller, the lone setback. It'll be the handoff to Reed Miller, maybe a yard or less. Timothy Beal came up to make the stop for the Scrappers. And also making the stop is Aaron Westfall. So it's going to be about 3rd down and about 6 yards to go. It'll be a long 6. Ball is shy of the Mustang 39-yard line. Ball is right in the middle of the field for the Perryville Mustangs. There's a little numbers difference, and we'll talk about that as David was pointing out there a moment ago. We'll talk about those numbers difference here in just a moment. Lone setback again is Reed Miller. It'll be the option by the quarterback, Brown, and he's going to get outside, but he's going to pick up not enough well, maybe he did get enough for the 1st down. They mark him right at the 1st down yardage at the 45-yard line, and I believe he did get it.
That was Mark McGill that was running him out of bounds, Charles, and that was something we had heard. We had heard that the Perryville quarterback, Dustin Brown, he would turn it up. He likes to call his own number and run the ball.
First down of the ball game for the Perryville Mustangs. Scrappers have about 60 kids out on their team, and I think Perryville, from what we understand, has about 27 or 28. Nashville, one of the larger AA schools in the state. And I think Perryville, I think their coach said they were one of the smallest AA schools in the state, but we've got a couple in our conference that might rival that. I'm not sure. Okay, ball on the right hash mark at the Mustang 45. And they'll go with a 3-back set now. T formation, split to the left side, to split in. Hand off on a cross-butt play, and it's going to be nothing there. Carrying the ball that time for the Mustangs was number 4, John Tyndall. And coming up to make the stop for the Scrappers was Latree Richards. And there's going to be a loss of about 2 on the play.
Perryville doesn't threaten to throw the ball at all. It'll be a long night. Nashville just put 9 in the box like that, and they'll really struggle to move the ball.
Well, we understand they'll run that option play that they run a moment ago about 15, 16 times a ball game. He'll throw it about half of those times out of that run-pass type option. And lone setback now is going to be Reed Miller. 2nd down and 12. Back at the 40, about the 44. Wing sets up on the left side. It'll be the sweep. It'll go now to Joel Gill, and he's going to get outside and pick up maybe a couple of yards. And it looks like Irby came up along with number 83, Chris Walker, to make the tackle for the Scrappers. Mark it at about the 47-yard line. He gets more, about 3 yards on that carry.
Guys, I hear my calling card.
Okay.
David, we enjoyed it. Thank you for being here with Channel 4.
Everybody at Channel 4, hello for us. David Basil of Channel 4 joining us in the booth for a little bit of color commentary, and we certainly do appreciate that. Big 3rd down play for the Perryville Mustang. Ball is on the left hash mark at the Mustang 47. Lone setback is Reed Miller. Wants to throw. Pressure. Brown. Heavy pressure on Brown, and Latree Richards almost gets him. It's going to be intercepted by Mark McGill at the 40, 45, 50. What a block at the midfield stripe. Oh, my goodness, what a block. I believe that was, let's see, who was that made that block? Leslie Hendricks on the block at about the midfield stripe, but McGill returns it to the 47-yard line. I think there's a face mask also.
There's a flag down that was thrown right here by our near side, right at the Scrapper sideline.
And there's a timeout by the officials here for just a moment. The tackle was made by DeWeese, and there's some conversation going on there, so I'm not sure what it's going to be. Oh, I mean, Coach Laird's mad at somebody. And that must mean that the infraction is going to be against the Scrappers.
You can hear the helicopter of Channel 4 revving up, getting set to leave. We earlier want to thank David again for sitting in for a moment. Scrappers leading by a score of 7-0. And Charles Perryville just had happen what they didn't want to have happen early in the ball game.
Well, we don't know if it's actually happened yet. The flag was at the Scrapper 42-yard line. This infraction could be against Nashville.
Perryville certainly didn't want to come up with any type of turnovers or anything that would change that pace, and they just hadn't been able to get something where they could sustain something, Charles, and get a couple of first downs.
Well, the penalty is at this moment is being, unless there's multiple fouls, this one's being walked off against the Perryville Mustangs. And it's being walked off from the Mustang 47-yard line. The ball will be placed at the Mustang. Well, the Mustang 32. Now, the official gave an unsportsmanlike conduct foul and pointed against the Scrappers. Now, they may walk one off against the Scrappers, and it may have been a foul after the play, Rick. If it is, that means that it will not be 1st and 10. It'll be 1st and 25 yards marked off against the Scrappers. So we had a face mask foul called against the Perryville Mustangs. Now we're going to have a 15-yard penalty marked off against the Scrappers, which will move it back to the spot where McGill was tackled. However, instead of 1st and 10 at that point, it'll be 1st and 25 for the Nashville Scrappers. That was a dead ball foul after the play. So now it's Nashville with a first down from the 46, we're going to call it. That's the Perryville 46. And McBride wants to throw. Pumped it. Long pass downfield. Washington open. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Scrappers. One play drive, 46 yards. Well, they got 47 on the scoreboard, Rick. Let's just go with that.
47 yards for the touchdown. I tell you, Greg Washington was out in the flat across the way from us, going down the sideline, just backpedaling, waiting for that ball. Perryville with no one back there. I don't know how Greg was able to break that coverage so well.
I'll tell you what, they're going to have to cover him, or there's going to be a long night. That is that's the best passing combination in the state, folks. If you hadn't heard about them, well, you're going to hear about them tonight. They are the state leaders overall. And state lead attempt the point after, placements down, kickers up, looks good, and it is. And with 6 minutes, 53 seconds left in the first period, Scrappers lead 14-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. We'll be back in just a moment. Washington and McBride. McBride set a record in the state for passing last year, a single season record, and this year he broke that record in 10 games. Washington set a record last year in receiving, and he broke that record this year in 8 games. So you have the two best passing and receiving combinations in the state. Here's a kickoff by Stabley. It will be taken at the 15-yard line. Back to the 20, 25. That's Reed Miller. And he's to the 30, and he's going to be hemmed in at around the 32. And it's about a 15-yard return. DeMarco Piggy came up and made the hit for the Scrappers. So it's going to be marked at the 30. call it the 32-yard line.
Perryville getting set to take over on their third possession on their own 32-yard line. The Scrappers have had the ball on 2 different possessions, and the Scrappers have scored on both of those, leading right now by a score of 14-0.
And Mustangs will send number 22, J.R. Cook, wide to the right side. Ball is on the left hash mark. They'll set a tight slot on the right side. Now he breaks out of that, sets up as a wing on the right side. And there's a little crossbuck play that is not going to go very far. He's going to pick up maybe a yard, and I'm surprised he didn't lose 2 or 3. It just stacked up in there. John Tyndall, the ball carrier for the Mustangs. And it looks like Timothy Beal and Leslie Hendricks and Mark McGill on the stop for the Scrappers. We'll give him a yard. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9 for the Mustangs. Ball is still on the left hash mark. Wes McKinney brings the play in, checking wide to the left side, and Tyndall wide to the right side. They'll have a wing set up on the left side, and Brown down under at quarterback. Wants to option, wants to throw, hemmed in, big loss on the play, back inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Penalty flag thrown late. That's going to be a dead ball foul, and Reed made the stop for the Scrappers along with Leslie Hendricks and Timothy Beal. And let's wait and see what the official is going to call here. Timeout is going to be called by the Mustangs. So with a timeout on the field, 5:58 left here in the first period. Scrappers leading 14-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. You're listening to AA Playoff Football.
Mustangs take timeout as there's a flag on the play. Personal foul against the Mustangs, moves the football back to the 15, and the Mustangs take timeout. Third down and 27 when play resumes.
To the left side, and Cook to the right side. They'll have a slot to the right side now. They'll have a double slot actually to the right side. And Brown in shotgun formation. Going to kick it. It's a quick kick by Brown. End over end type kick. It'll take a Perryville bounce across the midfield stripe to the 45, and it will roll dead at the Scrapper 43-yard line. Wes McKinney is the one that punted the ball for the Perryville Mustangs. So the Scrappers will take over at the 43-yard line. That's the Nashville 43-yard line.
Well, that play had to come up and really work for them, Charles, because a moment ago they had a 28-yard punt with a 12-yard return. That time, a 42-yard punt, no return for the Scrappers.
Ball is on the right hash mark. It's a no-back set once again for the Scrappers. McBride wants to drop and roll. Pressure. Screen pass. Complete. No, overthrew his man. I thought he was going to catch it, but he overthrew. And I think we're going to have a penalty flag against the Perryville Mustangs, probably roughing the passer. Overthrew Cleota's shoes on the screen to the right side. And it looked like that Stute came in and may have hit McBride a little bit late along with Josh DeWeese. Personal foul, that is the call, against the Perryville Mustangs.
They're trying, Charles, to get something started here, and that's one reason they're being a little bit aggressive. That play just a little bit too aggressive. 5:43 to go in the first quarter, and the Scrappers leading by a score of 14-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. And right now, the infraction being marked off.
All right, that's several infractions against the Mustangs, and maybe we'll have the total penalty count for the Mustangs here for you in just a moment. It's going to be a first down for the Scrappers, however, at the 42-yard line. That is the third penalty for 45 yards now against the Perryville Mustangs. Ball is on the right hash mark at the Mustang 42. Handoff, it'll be Dugan right side. Got a little bit of yardage as he crosses the 40 to about the 38-yard line. And coming up to make the stop was Shane West for the Mustangs. Dugan picks up 3. It'll be second down and 7. Ball is still on the right hash mark for the Scrappers. And Washington, the split end, will check wide to the left side. Reed will be in the slot on the left side. Scrappers will have split backs now. Out of the 2-back set. A regular standard pro set. McBride drops, throws it downfield, complete to Washington at the 25. Tries to get a block. He does from Reed at the 20, and Washington will be run out of bounds inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. Coming up to make the stop was Dustin Brown, along with number 55 is Nick Canant. So the Scrappers pick up a first down at the Mustang 19. And that'll stop the clock on the out-of-bounds play. 5:02 left here in the first period of play, with the Scrappers leading 14-0. Ball is on the left hash mark for the Scrappers. Washington wide to the right side. Reed in the slot. Again, a split back set. It'll be Hughes and Dugan. McBride drops straight, rolls to his right. Pass across the middle, and almost intercepted it is. And it was off the shoulder pads of Hughes and went into the hands of number 4, John Tyndall. And Tyndall picks it off. A little tip play there, and Tyndall will be tackled at the 18-yard line of the Mustangs. So a break for the Mustangs there. And that comes with 4 minutes and 55 seconds now left in the first period. And that ball was thrown at Hughes a little bit high and went right off his shoulder pads up in the air, and Tyndall doing a good job to pull it down. And I'll go with a 3-back set now. T formation, wants to throw it, slant, no good, over his head. Intended for number 22, and that is J.R. Cook. And looks like Walker and McGill, and also in there was Jab Johnson on the defense for the Scrappers. It'll bring up second down and 10 now, with the ball right on the right hash mark at the Mustang 18-yard line. 4 minutes and 52 seconds left here in the first period. Cook checks wide to the left side. And Tyndall will set up as a wing, or as a tight end now on the right side. And Brown wants to roll, fumbles the ball. It's on the ground. Scrappers have a chance, and Brown will pick it up and finally recover it. About 3 Scrappers came over, and that's at the 13-yard line, and Brown was very lucky to get the ball back. And Timothy Beal came up to finally put him down along with Jab Johnson.
The point you just made, like you said, Dustin Brown doing a good job. He was all alone out here, and several defenders for the Scrappers coming up trying to get the loose ball, and Brown did just a great job. He reached down for it, and about that time, 2 or 3 Scrappers hit him.
It looked as though Dustin Brown may have hit his leg, hit the ball on his leg, and maybe his leg knocked it out. It kind of looked that way. He was carrying the ball with one hand as he rolled to the right side, trying to set up and throw an option-type pass. And now it is 3rd and 15. And here is Brown wanting to throw. Passes it downfield, and he goes incomplete, intended for Cook. And a good defensive play. It looks like Leslie Hendricks on the defense along for the Scrappers. It'll be 4th down now for the Perryville Mustangs, so they'll have to punt it away on 4th and 15.
And one thing here, Charles, with the ball spotted on about the Perryville 13-yard line, no matter when they kick it away, the Scrappers are going to look at the field position here. The Scrappers will have an excellent opportunity taking over inside the Perryville territory.
Brown in deep punt formation now at the goal line. Good snap, very little pressure, wobbly kick. It'll hit at the 35, roll to the 40, 42, maybe 43-yard line, and the Mustangs will down it there at the Perryville 43-yard line, and that's where the Scrappers will take over. John Stoop downed it there for the Perryville Mustangs.
All he was trying to do on that particular kick for Perryville, Charles, was kicking it away from getting a return by the Scrappers. Did a good job, and it hit it about just inside the 40-yard line in a good roll, and they're going to spot it at the Perryville 42-yard line.
And Perryville had that ball then for less than 1 minute, Rick, on that particular series. Not very long. Can't run much clock that way. Slot to the left side now. McBride wants to throw. A little bit of pressure. Fires it downfield. It's going to be complete. That's Washington. And he had a face mask, no call there. He's going to be run out of bounds, and he gets inside the 30 to about the 25-yard line, and Dustin Brown ran him out of bounds. And it will actually be marked at the 26-yard line. It'll be a first down for the Scrappers, and they're right back down there once again. 5 first downs now for the Scrappers here so far in the first period, with 3:38 left. 1 first down for the Mustangs. Ball is on the left hash mark. Slot goes to the right side. Washington the split in. Reed the slot. Split backs again. McBride hands straight up the middle. Dugan gets it across the 25 to about the 24-yard line. And it looks like Jacob Lee came up to make the stop for the Mustangs. 2-yard gain. Second down and 8. Ball is just inside the left hash mark for the Scrappers.
Right now, Jared McBride is 5 out of 7. He's completed 5 passes. 2. Greg Washington incomplete on 1, been intercepted on 1. Greg has 5 receptions for 129 yards.
Split back, slot right. Same set as a moment ago. Handoff, Cleotis Hughes tries the left side, and he'll pick up maybe a couple of yards. And Tyndall came up along with Jacob Lee to make the stops for the Mustangs. And about another 2-yard gain. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 6 now for the Scrappers at the 21-yard line. That's only the 3rd running play by the Scrappers so far in the ball game. And like we said, they love to throw it. Slot again to the right side, same set as we had the last 2 plays. And the ball on the left hash mark now. McBride drops, looks, wants to throw it out. Washington completed the first down marker, and they're going to throw him back. And I don't know. I don't think the official is going to give him the spot. They threw him back all the way to the 20, and that wasn't a great job of officiating right there. They hit him and just drove him back, and he had the first down at the 15-yard line. And I'll tell you what, the official did not do a great job of spotting the ball at the catch. Joel Gill came up and made the stop for the Mustangs. It will be 4th down and about 4.5 yards to go for the Scrappers. Ball is on the right hash mark now. Split backs again. Slot this time to the left side. McBride drops, wants to throw, passes it, and it goes incomplete, intended for Washington at the 10-yard line, and Gill on the defense for the Mustangs. Coach Laird wasn't real happy with that last spot of the ball, I can tell you that. He caught it about a yard or 2 past the first down marker, defender right on him, and had his back to him, and he just pushed him right straight back 5 or 6 yards. And the official spotted it where he actually went down. And normally you get the spot where you catch the ball. But anyway, that play's over with. Here we go. 21-yard line now for Perryville, and their ball is on the left hash mark. And handoff. Picks up a couple of yards, breaks a tackle, and Gill will break it out close to first down yardage at the 30. And Reed made the stop for the tackle along with Paul Wayne Ray. And it's going to be shy of the first down. No, they gave it to him. Didn't even measure it. It was very, very close. It looked like it might have been shy just a little bit, but officials say he's got it. So Mustangs with their 2nd first down of the ball game now. Ball just inside the right hash mark. And they'll send Cook wide to the left side. And they'll have Edwards split wide to the right side. Lone setback now is going to be Reed Miller. And Brown down under. Hands off Reed Miller. Big hole up the middle. It closes quickly. He'll gain up to about the 34. Leslie Hendricks on the stop along with Westfall and Irving. And that's going to bring up 2nd down now. And Baker making a very good block that time. Or Barker rather. For the Mustangs. About a 4-yard gain. We'll give him that. 2nd down and 6 now for the Mustangs. Beginning to get their running game going. And they'll split McKinney wide to the left side. And Edwards on the wing on the right side. Handoff Reed Miller up the middle again. Breaks tackle, got some yardage. McGill's after him 50, 45, 40. And he's run out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. And they'll mark it right on the Scrapper 40-yard line. Well, the Mustangs now have a first down. Great blocking up front, Canant, House, and DeWeese. That play was right up the middle. And a good job by the offensive line for the Mustangs to open that hole, and a good job of running by Reed Miller.
25 seconds to go in the first quarter. Scrappers leading 14-0, but now Perryville has moved into Scrapper territory at the Nashville 40-yard line.
And Cook will go wide to the left side. Now ball is on the right hash mark. Reed Miller the setback, wings on each side now. Brown down under, handoff, Reed Miller up the middle, and he'll try to break a tackle and pick up a yard or two. Leslie Hendricks on the bottom of the pile for the Scrappers, and he'll get it to about the 39. We're giving 1 yard.
This has been a particular series for the Perryville Mustangs that we saw them take over on their own 21-yard line, and now they drove it into Scrapper territory, so they're really stepping up their running game right now.
And Jeff Johnson checks in for Nashville, and Cleo Hughes checks out. That's the end of the first period. Scrappers lead here at Scrapper Stadium by a score 14-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. You're listening to Playoff Football. Their two first offensive series, and the last two they've been they have not scored. So Scrappers with 4 offensive series, and this is the 5th offensive series for the Mustangs now. And time's back in. Long set back again is Reed Miller. That wings on each side for the Mustangs, and Brown down under at quarterback, split into the right side. Brown wants to throw, pressured by Reed. Brown on the run. Flies it up in there and just throws it away. I mean, he threw it all the way on the track over there. There wasn't anybody within probably 30 yards. And a good job by Brown. They finally throw a flag, and I don't know who that one's going to be on. They may have called intentional grounding. Now, Brown had been chased all the way back to about the Scrapper 42-yard line, and he just threw it away, way out of bounds. Not a receiver with, as I said, within probably 30 yards. He almost threw it on the other side of the track. And I think we are going to have, and that's what it is, intentional grounding. That is a loss of down call against the Mustangs. They're actually going to mark it from the Mustang 45, where he threw the ball. They walk off 5 yards. And Rick, that's going to amount to about a 20-yard penalty plus loss of down. It will be 3rd down and 30 yards to go now. And they'll send Cook wide to the left side. And they'll go with a T-type formation now. Split T formation. They'll break out of that and put a wing on the right side. Brown wants to throw. Heavy pressure again. He'll complete it out to Joel Gill on the right side as they try to set up the screen, and he'll get back to the 40-yard line, and that's it. And Timothy Beal came up to make the stop for the Scrappers, along with, it looked like Reed put a lot of pressure on him that time, and he got rid of it just about the time Reed got there, him and Taylor. So it'll bring up 4th down and about, still about 30 yards to go for the Mustangs, and Brown in deep punt formation standing on his own 26-yard line. It'll be McGill and Ray back deep to receive. They're standing on the Scrapper 30. And we're waiting for the officials to get things set. Command to snap. There's the snap. It's a good one. Scrappers with no rush. High kick. It'll turn over. McGill and Ray were fighting over it at the 25, and luckily they did not drop it, and McGill finally came up with it, and it'll be dropped at the 25-yard line.
35-yard punt with no return.
And Aaron Black came up on the coverage for the Perryville Mustangs, and the Scrappers will take over at their own 25-yard line. A little miscommunication that time on the return. And Scrappers now will start their 5th offensive series of the night, leading 14-0. And then back in for the Scrappers will be Witherspoon, and he's a dandy. He's a sophomore, but he's a good one. Handoff, Witherspoon right up the middle, maybe a yard. And coming in to make the stop will be number 67, Jacob Lee, along with Shane West. And give Witherspoon 1 yard on the carry. Bring up 2nd down and 9. And we have an injured Mustang. Looks like Shane West is injured out there, lower leg problem. And he's going to be down for a moment. 10:36 left here in the first half of play. Scrappers leading 14-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. You're listening to AA State Playoffs.
That's Shane West taking up all the blows for Mustangs.
West is up and off the field under his own power. It'll be 2nd down and 9 Scrappers. McBride with a straight drop. Little pressure, not much. Reed on the completion at the 40. Breaks a tackle, 45, midfield, inside Mustang territory at the 48, 47-yard line. And Reed, that is Derek Reed. We got 2 Reeds out there for the Scrappers, and Cook, along with Reed Miller, came up and made the stop. It'll be a first down for the Scrappers at the 47-yard line of the Mustangs. Ball is on the right hash mark for the Scrappers, moving south to north. And it looked like West is going to be all right. He's may have a cramp in his leg. That's kind of what that looks like on the far side of the field. They're rubbing his calf, so that must be what it is. Slot to the left side for the Scrappers. McBride again with a straight drop. It's going to be the screen pass, complete. He goes to Witherspoon, breaks a tackle, 40, inside the 40, still on his feet, inside the 35 to about the, well, they mark it, looks like the 31-yard line. I can tell you this, he's a slippery little rascal. You better get a hold of him or he'll be gone. Jacob Lee and John Tyndall comes up and makes the stop for the Mustangs.
16-yard gain on that, and it is a first down for the Scrappers. As you mentioned, Witherspoon just kind of bounces off of tacklers.
So it's a first down for the Scrappers at the Mustang 31. And as I said, the ball is on the right hash mark, wide side of the field to the left, and that's where Washington will set up with a slot to the left side, split backs again. McBride drops, looks to his left, wants to throw, fly pattern, intended for Washington, and he's going to catch it at about the 5-yard line. Did he score? He's in the end zone, and they're going to mark him down at about the 1-yard line. What a catch by Greg Washington. And the defender on the play was number 6, Joel Gill. And Washington looked like he reached up with one hand, and everybody in the booth says that's right. One-handed catch by Greg Washington.
Well, Gill for the Perryville Mustangs had pretty good coverage. Looked like he was all over him, and Washington's not all that tall, but he was able, as you mentioned, the ball was a perfectly thrown pass by McBride and just came up with that one-arm catch.
It certainly was a perfect pass. 1-yard line is the spot, first and goal, Scrappers. Split back, swing on the right, double tights now. Handoff, no. McBride wants to throw. He's going to be thrown for a huge loss on the play. Oh, my goodness, back at the 15-yard line. And Reed Miller, along with John Tyndall, came up and made the stop. Well, the Scrappers with first and goal from the run, from the 1-yard line, decided they wanted to throw the football, and the Mustangs blew through and trapped McBride back at the 15-yard line. So it'll be second down and goal for the Scrappers. Now back at the 15-yard line. Slot goes to the right side with the ball right in the middle of the field for the Scrappers. And McBride with a straight drop, better protection, passes it in the end zone, complete, Washington, touchdown Scrappers. That comes with 8 minutes and 18 seconds left here in the first half of play.
Let's back up and get a little better stats. Washington on that 15-yard pass reception, he now has 8 receptions for 174 yards. And let's see, right now Jared McBride has completed 10 out of 12 passes. And as we mentioned, 8 of those have gone to Greg Washington.
And 3 of those have been touchdowns. So Stabley in to attempt the point after. And there's the snap, placement down, kick up, looks good, and it is. And the Scrappers now lead 21-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. 8:18 left here in the first half of play. You're listening to Playoff Football. First half of play here at Scrapper Stadium. It's the first round of the AA state playoffs. It's the Nashville Scrappers and the Perryville Mustangs. Perryville Mustangs coming in 4th place in 5 AA Central. Scrappers in 1st place in 7 AA. And that's the way they match them up. 1st place and 4th place teams in the first round of the playoffs. The winner of this game will meet the winner of Gravett and Brinkley. And they're playing at Gravett there tonight. And here's the approach by Stabley on the kickoff. It will be taken by Gill at the 8, fumbles it at the 10, picks it back up. 15, back to the 20, gets outside, got room. 25, 30, 40, and he's going to be outside the 40 to about the 42. And one of the Scrappers had him by the jersey for a moment, and he broke that, and Robert Witherspoon had to come up and make the tackle. And I thought he was going to break away for a moment. And it looks like there was a little bit of extracurricular activity as one of the Scrappers got up off the ground and walking back to the huddle. He was confronted, and they finally broke that off, and so here we go. First down, we're going to call it the 43-yard line of Perryville. And Brown down under, lone setback is going to be Reed Miller. And Brown on the reverse, hands it off on a crossbuck. It's going to go to Gill. And Gill coming from his wingback position on the counter play. And Mark McGill came up and made the tackle. It's enough, however, for a Perryville first down. Had me fooled on that one a little bit. A little bit of a misdirection there, and I thought he handed it off to Jason Edwards. But Gill is the one that came up with it. First down at the 46-yard line of the Scrappers for the Mustangs. They'll break out of the T formation, go with the wing on the right side now. Brown wants to hand off again on that same type of play, and Gill this time is smothered. He maybe got a yard to the 45. Looks like Irby came up along with Walker, Hendricks, McGill also on the stop. That'll bring up second down and 9 now for the Mustangs with the ball just inside the Scrapper 45. Left hash mark is the placement. Cook checks wide to the right side for the Mustangs. And they'll go with a lone setback, wings on each side now. And Brown wants to throw it. Pass across the middle, had a slant pattern. There's going to be a penalty. What in the world is a penalty there? They threw a penalty. I don't even know what the penalty was for. They're going to call pass interference probably. And there was not a soul around the receiver. Oh my goodness, the officials are talking this thing over. Unless it was a penalty after the play, I don't know what it was. Because there was nobody around the receiver. But the Scrappers are clapping their hands, so I don't really know. There's a conference by the officials. 7:03 left here in the first half of play. The flag is down, and it may be going to wave it off. Well, that's a good thing by the officials. Somebody just didn't see what happened, and they wave it off. Somebody thought there was pass interference, and it wasn't even close. Nobody was even close to the receiver. As Cook went on a slant pattern, ball was thrown a little bit high and went off his hands and incomplete. So to bring up third down now and 9. for the Mustangs at the Scrapper 45. All right in the middle of the field. On set back is Reed Miller. Wings each side. Brown, straight drop, wants to throw it. Pass down the field, incomplete. Good defensive play that time by Ray for the Scrappers. That'll bring up 4th down now. And Cook, the intended receiver again for the Mustangs. So let's see if the Mustangs, down 21-0 with the ball at the Scrapper 45, might want to go for it, Rick.
6:58 to go in this first half of plays. You mentioned they're down by 3 and
3 scores.
3 scores, right.
And Brown is in deep punt formation, but it could be a fake. Scrappers have a lone return man, and that's McGill, standing on his own 12-yard line. There's a good snap. Brown's got it. He will punt it away. High kick. McGill signals the fair catch. It will hit and bounce, and the Mustangs will down it at the 20-yard line, and Josh Deweese came up and downed it for the Mustangs. Scrappers will take over at the Scrapper 21-yard line.
25-yard punt with no return, and you know, Charles, after giving up a 12-yard return on that first punt, for the last 4 punts, Perryville's done a good job to keep it away from the Scrapper return.
All right, ball is just inside the left hash mark. Scrappers moving south to north. That's left to right on your radio dial. And Washington will check wide to the right side. Reed will be in the slot for the Scrappers. And split backs. McBride with a straight drop. Wants to throw. Fly pattern. Washington hangs it up in the air. Washington's got a chance. Intercepted. Intercepted by Josh Gill at the Scrapper 40-yard line. Oh, great play by Josh Gill.
Well, that ball was in the air about 40 yards, and Gill, it looked like Washington was going to come up with it, but Gill just laid back on the ball and just came up and just slid down as he caught the ball from the interception. So Perryville will take over on their own 40-yard line.
And McBride threw that one about 50 yards in the air, and it was a perfect pass. But good job by Gill on the coverage. He was right step for step with Washington. Here's the reverse. It goes to Gill on the sweep outside. Latree Richards can't get him, but Paul Wayne Ray will. And he will pick up a little bit of yardage. A late flag, could be a late hit by the Scrappers. And he picked up about 4. We waited till the officials gave the spot to about the 44. And there must be a late hit by the Scrappers. And the officials conversing. Face mask is going to be the call. When the late hit is the face mask. So 15 yards will be marked off against the Scrappers. And we'll take a look at the penalty situation now. And the Scrappers, 1 penalty for 15. And the Mustangs, 5 for 65. So the Mustangs with great field position now. They're back down at the Scrapper 41. Ball is on the right hash mark. 6 minutes and 31 seconds left here in the first half. Scrappers leading 21-0. Wings on each side, split into the right. Handoff up the middle. Reed Miller picks up a little bit of yardage, and I'll tell you, he got away, and then McGill came up and really popped him after he picked up about another yard. Good job by McGill to fill that hole coming up from the safety. And Reed Miller picks up 4 on the play. We're bringing up second down, long 6, short 7. And the ball is just inside the Scrapper 38-yard line. Ball is on the right hash mark. And Wes McKinney checks wide to the left side. And Brown down under. Long set back again is Reed Miller. And they want to do the counter option, and it's going to be Brown, and somebody stayed at home, and that's Kirby, and may have thrown him for a loss on the play. As he either improvised or that was the counter play by the quarterback. He turned, rolled to his left, and then rolled back and turned inside, and going back to his right, and there was nobody there except Irby, and there's a 1-yard loss on the play.
Perryville will face a 3rd down and 7 situation here with 5:20 to go in the first half. Scrappers leading by a score of 21-0.
And Cook checks wide to the right side with the ball in the right hash mark. In the slot for the Mustangs will be Edwards. Long set back again, Reed Miller. And Brown wants to throw, wants to screen it to the right side, complete out to Tyndall. Scrappers are going to be after him, and they break a couple of tackles as he cuts back against the grain and gets it to about the 35. And Scrappers were waiting on him, but there's a scrapper down on the play, and I believe that's going to be Jamie Irby getting up a little bit slow. And he is up and off the ground, and he may want to come out. Looks like Cleota Hughes is going to check in for him, and Irby will come out. 4:45 left here in the first half, 21-0 Scrappers. Irby checking out of the ball game, as I said. It will be 4th down now, and about 4 yards to go. Ball just shy of the Scrapper 35. And the first down marker is at about the 31-yard line. So this is a big 4th down play right here for the Perryville Mustangs. Ball in the middle of the field. And that brings them up to the line of scrimmage. On the line, doing a good job there. Sloan set back, Reed Miller, big 4th down play. Wings on each side. And Brown hands off to Gill. Tries to cut back, breaks the tackle, and nothing. It closes in a hurry. He tried to cut back against the grain. He's going to end up maybe even losing a yard. 4th down play. Scrappers will take over. Clint Reed comes up and makes the tackle for the Scrappers. So the Scrappers will take over and mark it the 32. And that comes with 4 minutes and 21 seconds left here in the first half.
That made the 36-yard line as Nashville takes over. 4:21 to go in the first half again. Scrappers leading by a score of 21-0.
With the ball on the left hash mark from the 36. And split backs, slot right for the Scrappers. Hand off. Witherspoon, they're going to have an illegal formation, I think is going to be the call. As the flag went in the air, and Witherspoon picks up about 8 yards on the carry. It looked like Jacob Lee coming up and make the stop for the Mustangs, but I believe the Scrappers had too many men on the line of scrimmage then. They may have just called illegal motion. The illegal shift is what the actual call is going to be. And it'll mark it back to the 32-yard line. And it'll still be first down, but it'll be first down and 15. And we welcome all of our listeners again from the Morrilton area, listening to the Perryville Mustangs in the playoff. Split backs, slot right. And handoff goes to Hughes. Cuts back against the grain, gets loose, yardage, 10, 15 yards almost on the play. And they tackled him before he got to the first down marker. Somebody tripped him up, and he picked up about 13 yards on the play. Jacob Lee on the tackle. And we also want to welcome our listeners from the Conway area over CSN tonight. And it will bring up second down, and we're going to call it 3 yards to go. So he picked up 12 on the play. Ball is still on the left hash mark. Slot to the right side, and the split end will be Washington. Split backs again for the Scrappers. It'll be the toss sweep. Witherspoon gets outside. First down, 50, 45, 40. Witherspoon can go. Cuts back to the 30, 25, 20. Ball's on the ground. Witherspoon picks it up. Bounce right back in his hands. Touchdown, Scrappers. I mean, the ball came out, took a bounce right back up in Witherspoon's hands, and caught it on the run, and nobody there. And Jacob Gill had a chance for it, but he couldn't come up with it. And the Scrappers score.
Well, as you mentioned, Gill knocked it out of his hands, but the ball took a perfect bounce and came right back up into his arms. And Charles, that is going to cover 56 yards on that play for the score.
All right, 56-yard run. I told you the kid was a shifty kid, and he's a sophomore. And that was Robert Witherspoon on the 56-yard run that time. That comes with 3:09 now left in the first half. And McGill to hold, Stabley to kick. And there's the snap, the placement down, the kick is up, looks good, and it is. And the Scrappers now lead by a score of 28-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. You're listening to Scrapper Football.
last particular series, Charles, he picked up on 2 carries, 68 yards, 2 plays, and 56 yards for the final play for the score for Robert Witherspoon and the Scrappers, and they lead right now 28-0 over the Perryville Mustangs.
Well, Rick, it's a great place to try an onside kick. If you don't get it, if it goes to 10 yards, it's going to be on the Mustang 35 because the Scrappers are kicking off from the Mustang 45. So Clint Reed is going to kick off for the Scrappers, has the ball on the right hash mark, and he has an angle to the left. So that looks like what's going to take place here. And the Scrappers are ready. We don't have the whistle yet by the official, and we're waiting for that. Everybody's not set. The official's trying to get everybody set, and there's the whistle. Here's the approach, and it is an onside kick, and a good job of the Mustangs to cover it there. Coming up with it was number 84, John Stute. And it will be at the 34. Good job by Stute to come up and cover that. It was an end-over-end onside kick, and it took that little hop right there where it can really be dangerous, but a good job that time of fielding the ball by Stute. And the Mustangs will take over on their own 34. That comes with 3 minutes and 9 seconds now left in the first half of play. Nashville leading by a score of 28-0. And the ball on the right hash mark, and Cook will check wide to the right side. And it looks like Gill will check out to the left side, and now the Mustangs want to talk it over. So they timeout on the field. 3:09 left here in the first half. 28-0 Scrappers. You're listening to AA Playoffs. Nashville leading by a score of 28-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. First round of the AA state playoffs, and a lot of important games going on around the state in all classifications. 3 of them being played right here within a 20-mile radius of Nashville. Murfreesboro playing along with Mineral Springs hosting games tonight, both of those schools. Brown wants to throw, fly pattern. Has a man out there, and did he catch it? Incomplete. Right at the sidelines, Gill, the intended receiver, covered by Ray. And the pass incomplete at about the Scrapper 32-yard line.
Did a good job just on that streak down the sideline, Charles.
Pretty good little pass, as a matter of fact, Rick. He had something on that. That ball was about 40 yards in the air. But however, that stops the clock with 3:03 left here in the first half. And second down and 10. For the Mustangs with the ball on the right hash mark again. This time Cook wide to the left side, Gill in the slot. And they have a slot to the other side, which is the right side, and the lone setback is Reed Miller. Brown wants to throw, pressure on him. He gets away, tries to cut upfield. Good block there, and Brown on the loose at the 45, across the 45 to about the 48-yard line. And it's enough for a Mustang first down. Coming up to make the stop will be Latree Richards.
Looked like there was pretty good pressure by the Scrapper defense, but, I mean, Dustin Brown just did an excellent job. That's one of his best runs here in the first half.
Well, Dustin Brown was going to be trapped for a loss, but he got a great block and cut it upfield, and he didn't have a receiver, so he tucked it up, and I'll tell you, he did a great job, and he got a great block also to spring him for that gain that time, all the way to the Perryville 48-yard line. First and 10 there, long setback again, Reed Miller. Brown is down under. Straight drop again by Reed Miller. Heavy pressure. Gets out of pressure again. Richards after him. Ball floated up in the air. Could be intercepted. Paul Wayne Ray at the 45. Still on his feet. And it'll be down at about the 48-yard line. And that was not a good pass that time by Dustin Brown. And the tackle made by Barker. So that time Brown just kind of floated one up in the air. Actually, think he was hit about the time he threw the ball, and it just kind of floated up in the air. Had a receiver there, but Paul Wayne Ray was right on him, and Ray battled for the interception, and he came up with it. First down, Scrappers at the Scrapper 47. And that comes with 2:24 now left in the first half. And the ball on the left hash mark. Split backs, slot right. McBride with a straight drop, wants to throw. Pump fake, passes it. Long pass downfield, complete Washington. He's on the loose, he'll go all the way. 20, 10, 5, touchdown Scrappers. No flags, Washington with a 53-yard touchdown reception. And that's the fourth time tonight that McBride and Washington have hooked up for the score.
And Greg Washington now has 9 receptions for 227 yards.
And that comes with 2 minutes and 14 seconds. That took 10 seconds for the Scrappers to go 53 yards. McGill to hold, Stabley to kick. There's a snap, the placement down, the kick is up. And it is good. And the Scrappers now lead 35-0 over the Mustangs with 2:14 left here in the first half of play. You're listening to Playoff Football.
Cheerleaders are selling state playoff t-shirts and sweatshirts. Sweatshirts cost $18 and a long-sleeve t-shirt shoe change. Sizes extra large and double X only. See a Scrapper cheerleader buy a state playoff t-shirt or sweatshirt.
All right, we're back here at Scrapper Stadium where the Scrappers are leading the Mustangs here in the first half with 2:14 left, 35-0.
Charles, this is a football team that you have to remember they've scored 459 points in 10 ball games in the season, so they're averaging better than 45 points a ball game. And the Scrappers now leading 35-0 over Perryville, as you mentioned, with 2:14 to go in the first half.
And the winner of this game will meet to either Gravett or Brinkley, and we understand it's 10-6 Gravett at the half. And Gravett. So Stabley with the ball on the tee and kicking it off. And there's the kickoff by Stabley. It will be taken at the 12. And that's Gill. Back to the 15, the 20, the 25. Straight up the field to the 30, outside the 30 to about the 35. And Rodney Campbell came up with Toyota shoes to make the stop for the Scrappers. And it will be marked right there. Leslie Hendricks also in on the stop. And we'll call it the 35. So Perryville with 2:06 now left in the first half. And the ball on the right hash mark. Cook will check wide to the left side. And Dustin Brown, the quarterback, down under. Lone setback, Reed Miller. Have a wing on each side. They had 2 men in motion, and Reed Miller on the handoff, breaks the tackle, he's in the loose. Paul Wayne Ray will drag him down at about the Scrapper 45-yard line. And they had their wing on the right side in motion. And the wing on the left side started early also. Herschel Taylor also came up to make the stop, but nevertheless it wasn't called, so it doesn't matter. Now it's at the Scrapper 45. I'm even going to call it the 44. And the Mustangs will have a 1st and 10 with 1:57 left here in the first half. Ball is on the right hash mark. And the Mustangs have 1 timeout left here in the first half. So they could, if they get down a little bit further and they want to stop the clock, well, they've got that 1 timeout to work. And Brown will hand off to Carter. And it's a misdirection play again, and he'll give it back now to Gill, and Gill will get back maybe to the line of scrimmage, or did he lose a half a yard? I'm going to give him a half a yard loss. Coming up is number 57, Philando Ware, and Rico Newton on the stop for the Scrappers. And it looks like the Scrappers are making some substitutions already. Bring up 2nd down and a little over 10 yards to go for the Mustangs. Ball just inside the right hash mark. And clock running, 1:10 left in the half. Brown rolls, wants to throw, breaks out, throws it downfield, complete to Tyndall at the 30, inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. And Leslie Hendricks makes the stop along with Mark McGill for the Scrappers. But nevertheless, it's a first down. They're actually going to mark it at the 29. And the clock stops with 1 minute exactly left in the first half. And now it starts with the chains being set. Brown down under. Reed Miller, the lone setback again, wings on each side. And there's the handoff up the middle, not much. Maybe a couple of yards. And now the Mustangs will have to burn the timeout. That was Gill on the carry. Richards makes the stop. We'll give him 2. Second down and 8. 36 seconds left in the half with a timeout. 35-0 Scrappers. You're listening to Playoff Football.
Mustangs take timeout.
Seconds left here in the half, and the Mustangs have called their final timeout. They're facing second down and 8 at the Scrapper 28-yard line. And they're also facing an uphill battle, down 35-0. And the officials having a little conference around the ball and just about to get things set. And now they finally do. And the center, J.B. House for the Mustangs, has them to the line of scrimmage. And now Brown will be in a shotgun formation. There's the snap. Brown drops, wants to throw. Pressure. He's going to be sacked all the way back outside the 35. It looks like Clint Reed came up along with several other Scrappers, but Reed finally finished him off all the way back at the 36-yard line. So it'll bring up a third down now, and the clock's still running. There probably will not be another play. Now they call a timeout. Rick, did they have another one left? Well, my.
That's a final one.
My. Well, we said there were no more timeouts, but evidently we called one on them a while ago when there actually was one called on us. So we'll go ahead and take a timeout ourselves. 14 seconds left here in the half. 35-0 Scrappers. You're listening to Playoff Football. Word come into the booth that Hope, which is very close to Nashville down here, Hope and Harrison battling it out, and Hope and Harrison tied at the half, 14 apiece. So it'll be third down now for the Mustangs, and about 16 yards to go back at the Scrapper 36-yard line. And now Brown moves up under center. Lone setback again is Reed Miller. They'll pass it out now to Gill. Couldn't get his handle on it, and he's going to get no gain on the play. In fact, he will lose a yard. And he bobbled it, and McGill came up and made the stop on Josh Gill, rather. And no gain. Fourth down now, and there's a Scrapper down. It looks like Latree Richards with 1 second left in the half. And Rick, we're going to hold it right here this time, and we'll just quickly take a look at some of the stats here in the first half. Statistic-wise, Scrappers with 8 first downs, Mustangs with 6 first downs. And the Scrappers had a big lead on that a moment ago, but the Mustangs have started putting some drives together, not able to punch a score in, but they've been able to put some good drives together and pick up first downs. Scrappers have 3 penalties for 35 yards, and the Mustangs 5 for 65 yards. Mustangs have turned the ball over twice, as the Scrappers have also turned it over twice. Mustangs converting 2 third down conversions, and the Scrappers have actually not had a third down conversion in this ball game. Well, it looks like play is going to be stopped for a moment with the injury out there. 1 second left in the half. We'll go ahead and take a break. 35-0 Scrappers. You're listening to Playoff Football.
That's what 3 Richards setting up for the Scrappers.
Trey Richards coming off the field for the Scrappers, and he's got a leg problem, being helped off the field. He's walking on it, but he's got a very noticeable limp. So we'll try to find out something on the tree and find out what his problem is. Brown back to throw. There's the whistle. That'll stop the second half after this play, and Brown will be smothered as he picks up a couple of yards to about the 31. So Cleotis Hughes came up and made the stop for the Scrappers along with Clint Reed at the end of the first half. However, here at Scrapper Stadium, the Scrappers lead after one half of play, 35-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. We'll have our halftime show right after these messages.
And as we return to Scrapper Stadium, getting set for the second half play-by-play, again Nashville leading 35-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. The Nashville Scrappers will be receiving to begin the second half. Scrappers scored on their first 2 possessions of the ball game, then were intercepted. Then turned the ball over, I believe, on downs, if I'm not mistaken there. And then the Scrappers went on another scoring tear where they scored on the next possession, then intercepted, and then scored on the next 2 possessions. So that's about the way it has gone in this first half of play. And right now, we're going to turn to Charles Hubbard for the second half of play-by-play. Scrappers leading 35-0.
Well, I don't know if anybody could hear that yell down there in the stands or not, but there's one Scrapper fan down there that's got a pair of lungs on him, I can tell you that.
Well, there's one thing, Charles, too, that the Scrappers, even with a 35-0 lead, you still got to remember, these are the playoffs. A little different concentration. Coach Laird had worried about how the Scrappers were going to concentrate coming in to this ball game and into the playoffs. They haven't, really played up to their full potential the last couple of weeks. But tonight they're really finding their role and finding everything going their way.
And Cowling will kick it off for the Mustangs. And Paul Wainwright at the 15, 20, 25, 30. Breaks the tackle, 35. Still on his feet, 40, 45. Cuts back midfield inside Mustang territory at the 46. I see no flags. There's an official standing at about the Scrapper 47. Now, I'm not sure if he stepped out there or not. Evidently he did not. 46-yard line. Scrappers will take over at the Perryville 46 to start the second half, and Aaron Black came up and made the stop for the Mustangs.
And that's another one of those big threats that the Scrappers have. That's on their special teams with their return. Greg Washington generally back there, but Paul Wayne Ray also back there with him, and Paul Wayne doing a great job this year on returns.
Split back, slot to the left side. McBride hands off. That'll be Hughes. Left side, big hole, 40, 35. Inside the 30, all the way to about the 26-yard line goes Cleotis Hughes. Coming up to make the stop for the Mustang is Josh Dewey's. And it'll be marked right on the 26-yard line. And that time the Scrappers on a little delay to the left side. And Hughes, when he broke the line of scrimmage, he had big yardage in front of him.
Well, the Scrappers with a #1 ranking got a lot to live up to, Charles, and they may be trying to make a statement the opening part of the playoffs here.
Ball is on left hash mark now. Lone setback will be Witherspoon, slots to each side. McBride tosses it out to Reed. 25, 20, inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line. And that is Derek Reed on the reception. from McBride. It'll be an 8-yard gain for the Scrappers. That'll bring up 2nd down and 2. And Tyndall came up and made the stop for the Mustangs. And this is the 3rd play of this drive coming up for the Scrappers. Opening drive of the 2nd half. Ball on the right hash marks. Again, slots to each side. Witherspoon is the lone setback. Ball is on the ground, and I don't know who came up with it. A bad exchange between the center and the quarterback for the Scrappers. And I believe the Scrappers may have come up with it. And let's see, who's on the bottom of the pile? McBride's down there getting up slow. Evidently, McBride found it. So it'll bring up 3rd down now for the Scrappers. And in fact, McBride looked like he might be trying to shake off a little bit. Looks like he's all right, however. 3rd down, it's still about 2 for the Scrappers at the 18-yard line of the Mustangs. Ball still on the right hash mark. Scrappers now with a split back set, slot to the left side. Handoff, that'll be Hughes, right side. He's got 1st down yardage as he plows across the 15-yard line. And it will be a 1st down for the Scrappers unless they mark it back. Now there's another flag in the air after the play. Well, we'll have to hold it here. And it looks like Jacob Lee came up and made the stop. And they mark it back actually at the 16-yard line, and the pile went all the way to about the 13. But evidently his knee must have gone down. And they're discussing it, and the Mustangs are backing up before they even talk to anybody. This was a dead ball foul, personal foul, Mustangs. And again, that's what we were talking about earlier, Rick. The Mustangs have hurt themselves with dead ball fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct. There's just no place for it. You can't win ball games that way. Half the distance to the goal. It'll mark it all the way to the 8-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, Scrappers at the Mustang 8. Ball is on the right hash mark. Split backs again. Wide receiver right, split into the left. And McBride rolls to his left. Wants to throw across the middle, complete to Martin, the tight end. Touchdown, Scrappers. An 8-yard touchdown pass, McBride to John Martin. And that comes with 9 minutes and 51 seconds left in the 3rd period. And that is a, what do you got, a 4-play drive, Rick? Or 5-play?
5-play.
5-play drive, and that is the 5th touchdown pass of the night by McBride. And McGill to hold, Stavely to attempt the point after. There's the snap, the placement's down, the kick is up. Looks like it's down the middle, and it is. So with 9:51 left in the 3rd period, the Scrappers now lead 42-0 over the Perryville Mustangs. You're listening to AA Playoff Football. Scrappers 2 minutes and 1 second to move 46 yards in 5 plays, and that drive capped by an 8-yard pass, McBride to Martin. Extra point by Stavely good. It's 42-0. The Nashville Scrappers. And several other scores coming in here. We may try to get some of those in for you here in a little bit. There's a kickoff by Stavely. High and taken at the 12-yard line by Gill. He's to the 20, 25, 30, and outside the 30 to about the 33-yard line where he was run out of bounds on that far side. Cleota Hughes came up to run him out. And the Mustangs will start their first offensive possession in the 2nd half from their own 32-yard line. Great night for football. We would wish that they would all be this nice. Great weather. Ball is on the right hash mark for the Mustangs. Split backs now with a slot to the left side. Brown on the reverse to Tyndall. Tyndall being forced to go deep. may not get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll be thrown for a loss. That'll be Timothy Beal, along with, let's see who it is. That is Walker. Beal and Walker combined to throw Tyndall for a loss back at the 29. So a 3-yard or so loss on the play for the Mustangs. 2nd down and 13 now. Ball now is on the left hash mark for the Mustangs. They'll send wide to the right side, Wes McKinney. And they'll have a lone setback of Reed Miller. And Brown down under. Brown wants to throw, rolls. Westfall after him. Complete to Gill. Open field, 50, 45. Scrappers will hem him in as he crosses the 40 to the 38-yard line. Boy, a good play that time by Brown to get the pass off to Gill. And coming up to make the stop was Paul Wayne Ray. So it'll be a 1st down for the Mustangs at the Scrapper 37-yard line.
That play covered 34 yards as they moved it on into Scrapper territory again at the 37, 34 yards on that pass play.
Well, you got to give Dustin Brown a lot of credit for getting out on the outside. He rolled to his right and a lot of pressure on him, and he was able to throw a perfect pass to Gill. Lone setback again is going to be Reed Miller. They'll have wings on each side. Brown moves up under center, split in to the left side, and that'll be Cook. And they'll hand it off right up the middle. That's Reed Miller. Picks up good yardage as he crosses the 30 to about the 29. And good blocking up front for the Mustangs. And coming up to make the tackle was Aaron Westfall along with Leslie Hendricks. And up front blocking is Danny Barker, Nick Canant, J.B. House, Josh DeWeese, and Jacob Lee. And those young men are doing a good job of opening those holes for the Mustangs. Long set back again is Reed Miller. Handoff. First man through, that's going to be Gill. 1st down yardage as he crosses the 25. And he'll get it all the way down to the Scrapper 21-yard line. So that'll be enough for a 1st down. Hendricks came up and made the stop for the Scrappers along with Clint Reed. Ball is right in the middle of the field for the Mustangs. Best drive of the night so far for the Mustangs. Brown up under center. Cook to the left side, wings on each side. Reed Miller the lone setback. Handoff, Reed Miller up the middle, maybe a yard as he gets to the 20. And we'll wait till they unpile them. Leslie Hendricks came up to make the stop for the Scrappers along with Timothy Beal. We'll give him one. All right in the middle of the field at the Scrapper 20-yard line. Scrappers leading 42-0. Clock running here with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left in the 3rd period. McKinney wide to the left side for the Mustangs, and a wing is on each side now. Again, Reed Miller, the lone setback. Brown down under. Wants to hand off. 1st man through. They're executing their plays very, very well. Reed Miller on the carry that time. And Hendricks came up and made the stop for the Scrappers. So let's see, that's a 7-yard gain. They'll mark it right on the 15-yard line, maybe even slightly inside the 15. So we'll call it about 3rd down and about 3 yards to go for the Mustangs. Ball just inside the right hash mark. Lone setback again is Reed Miller. Brown down under. Handoff on across, goes to Tyndall. And Tyndall had the 1st down, I thought, and then the Scrappers came up and stopped him, but I think he lunged forward for the 1st down at about the 11-yard line. It's going to be very, very close, but I think it's enough, and the officials say it is. So it's a 1st down for the Mustangs at the Scrapper 11. This is the 8th play of this drive coming up for the Mustangs. Best drive of the night. And it comes with their 1st offensive possession in the 2nd half.
Started at their own 32-yard line. They're down to the Scrapper 11.
Ball just inside the left hash mark, and McKinney to the left side. And 1st man through is Gill. Gets it inside the 10 to about the 7. Maybe even a little further than that. But when we get the spot, it's the 7. Coming up to make the stop is Aaron Westfall for the Scrappers along with Jab Johnson. And that'll bring up second down and about 6 yards to go for the Mustangs. Mustangs doing a good job just running the ball right at the Scrappers. Ball just inside the left hash mark. Mustangs moving north to south. Cook wide to the left side. Reed Miller the lone setback. Wings on each side now. And here's the option. Toss on the sweep. It'll go to Gill. Scrappers converging in a hurry. Touchdown for the Mustangs. 7-yard run by Gill. And the Mustangs are on the board with 5 minutes and 8 seconds left in the third period.
That covered 9 plays. That was a 68-yard drive and 9 plays, capped off on a 7-yard touchdown run by Joel Gill.
And an extra point attempt is going to be attempted by Gill, and Brown will hold.
Joel Gill is there to kick the extra point.
That was an excellent drive by the Mustangs. Gill, a sidewinder. There's a snap, the placement down, the kick is up, and it is good. And the Mustangs on the board with 5:08 left in the third period. It's 42-7. Scrappers will be back with a Mustang kickoff in a moment. Moved the ball 68 yards in 9 plays. It took 4 minutes and 36 seconds on that drive for the Mustangs. It was capped by a 7-yard run by Josh Gill. Extra point by Gill was good. 42-7 Scrappers. And awaiting the kickoff by the Mustangs, kicking north to south. And number 61 for the Mustang, Chris Cowling, has the ball on the tee. Here's the approach, and here's the kickoff by Cowling. A squib kick. It will be taken by Irby at the 25. Back to the 30. That's Witherspoon, rather. All the way to the 40-yard line is Robert Witherspoon. So the Scrappers will have good field position at their own 40-yard line to start this particular drive. Their second offensive possession of the second half, and Stute comes up to make the tackle for the Mustangs. And the ball is on the right hash mark for the Scrappers. And we've got a new center in there for the Scrappers. And let me see if I can figure out who that is. I believe that is going to be Jason Kennedy. Scrappers with a lot of new people in. Your Scrapper quarterback now is going to be Blake Young, handing off to Dimitri Hughes on the carry. And Hughes will run it to about the 44-yard line. Where they unpile them. So you got a few of the offensive line in there, but Clint Reed is in for the Scrappers on the offensive line. He filled in the last couple of weeks for Jason Davis. Now Reed's getting a little more work in at offensive tackle just in case it's needed. Reed to the left side, and looks like Jack Martin on the right side now. Handoff. Dimitri Hughes cuts back upfield, picks up yardage across the 45, falls forward to about the 48-yard line. And it'll be third down and about 2.5 yards to go for the Scrappers. Coming up, Nick Canad on the tackle for the Mustangs. Clock running here, 3 minutes and 55 seconds left in the third period. Martin checks wide to the left side. It's split in. Reed in the slot. It'll be Witherspoon and Hughes, the setbacks. That's Dimitri Hughes, and I think he got the first down, but I'm not sure. Depends on the spot. Right on the midfield stride. And we'll just have to wait and see. And it looks like number 63, Aaron Black, came up and made the stop for the Perryville Mustangs. And they're going to say it's a first down. It should be. The first down marker is just not quite on the midfield stripe, and the ball is squarely on the midfield stripe, so it is a first down for the Nashville Scrappers. Ball is on the right hash mark for Nashville. Reed will check wide to the right side. Martin wide to the left side. And Blake Young, Scrapper quarterback now. Split backs again. Blake Young rolls to his right. Wants to throw. Pass downfield, complete to Martin. Well, we got two Martins in the game. We got John Martin in at tight end. He's a senior, and his younger brother is Jack Martin. That one went to John Martin, the Scrapper tight end, for about 7 yards on the completion. It'll bring up second down and 3. John Cook on the stop for the Mustangs. And the spot is about the Mustang 43-yard line. Ball is now on the left hash mark for the Scrappers. And Jack Martin will check wide to the right side. In the slot will be Derek Reed. Split backs again. And it'll be the toss sweep. That's going to be Lavelle Leeper on the sweep. 40, 35, 30. Leeper's gone. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Lavelle Leeper. And Leeper on a 43-yard touchdown run. That comes with 2 minutes and 28 seconds now left in the third. And the Scrappers on the board again. So Leeper, I can guarantee you, when Leeper gets outside, if there's nobody very close to him, he's going to be gone. He's got the speed, and he showed it right there. So Leeper on a 43-yard touchdown run with 2:28 left, and Stabley again to attempt the point after.
That capped a 60-yard drive in 4 plays.
And we're waiting the snap. McGill to hold. Low snap, placement down, kick up, looks good, and it is. And the Scrappers now lead 49-7 over the Mustangs. 2:28 left in the third. You're listening to AA Playoffs. Every drive that each team has had in the second half, they have scored on. Scrappers got the ball first, scored on a 5-play, 46-yard drive to make it 42-0. Mustangs come back, and they score on a 9-play, 68-yard drive to make it 42-7. And now the Scrappers score on a 4-play drive, 60 yards, to make it 49-7.
Well, when I asked Perryville coach Jeff McGee if it would get into an offensive game, he said, "I certainly hope not."
15-yard line, and it'll be Cook. Back to the 20. Tries to get away, and it's going to be down at about the 22. And let's see. It looks